Gemini, welcome. Welcome to your weekly reading that is also timeless on Super Windy Saturdays, my friends. Yes, I am here for you, Gemini, to read for your highest good and your highest outcome, and it is my absolute pleasure to do so. I do have a request, Gemini, my friends. If you are returning and you already know how I read and you resonate with it, would you please go ahead and hit the like button, please? It would mean the world to me if you would hit the like button. And those of you who are here for the first time, you don't have to do it right away. That's okay. Watch the reading, see if it resonates, and if you're vibing with me, please subscribe and hit the like button, and we can move forward. But it's crickets out here, my friends. I don't know where everybody's at, but for whatever reason, we're in a lull, and I just want to check and see if anybody's there. So if you're out there, my friend, and you like these readings, please hit the like button. Okay, I'd appreciate it. We are doing 3 cards general energy. We are going to go with the Starman Tarot to kick it off, and then we'll be clarifying. I have several decks out here, so we're clarifying with something, and then we'll get 3 cards of potential outcome with something. I'm kind of winging it a little bit here, so we're kicking it off with the Starman Tarot. So without further ado, Princess of Swords is our launch pad here. The Princess of Swords, Page of Swords. We have the Lovers. Okay, Gemini, that is actually your card. And we have Strength. Cool. Leo card. I like this very much. Underlying the deck right now is the Two of Wands. The Two of Wands, real quick, is a card of having a clear notion of where you want to go. There's traditionally a notion of having the world in the palm of your hands, and you're sort of envisioning the journey that you'd like to go on. Wands being a suit of passion. There's something new in your life that is giving you a sense of direction. Okay? And what I see here that's really interesting is the Page of Swords, the Princess of Swords. This is a messenger in the sword suit, and is one that is asking for respect to boundaries. Okay, kind of recognizing what you're willing to do and what you're not willing to do in certain circumstances, and having a clear boundary, communicating your boundaries and your sense of autonomy to others, or somebody is communicating to you in that sense. With the Lovers and Strength, this definitely could involve a partner you currently have, potentially a Leo. Or it could be a new relationship maybe that's getting started. You could have a new soulmate coming into your life, and we have many soulmates in life. They serve different functions. So when we say soulmate, we always think of like the person that I'm going to love for the rest of my life, happily ever after. It's not quite that cut and dry. You have soulmates. Your pets, are soulmates. Your family members are soulmates. There are people that, in a sense, have contractually it's almost as if you've contractually committed yourself to learning a lesson with another soul, almost like before you got here. You know what I mean? You're like, no, I don't. Well, some of us have a theory that there's some preemption with our higher selves, and that we kind of decide to learn lessons together. So you may do you may do multiple lessons with the same person lifetime after lifetime. You may have different seasons, but there's a lot of people that you work with. There's a whole team of people that you work with in this life, and it's to benefit one another. But Strength here, let me get to the point. Strength is definitely tying with this Page of Swords energy. I feel like it's kind of you finding your voice and establishing the boundaries that you want to establish in a relationship or in a situation. So with that Lovers card, it could actually represent something of, obviously a romantic, definitely that's a possibility. But it can also be something like even in your job or any place that you have sort of a commitment, like a business partner, a career situation, a family member, a friend, or a lover. Could be all of those things. So Gemini, I just basically, the vibe I'm feeling here is that you've got a clear sense of like where you might want to go with your passions, with that Two of Wands underlying the deck. and you're learning how to set boundaries and communicate those boundaries to other people in your life. Okay? Yeah, and just real quick, I picked up the Magic Seer Tarot. This is a Rider-Waite it's just a borderless Rider-Waite. Lovely deck, but as I picked it up, the Ten of Wands was on the bottom, and this is a card of releasing burdens. Like, there's been enough, you've been bearing the burden long enough, and you're just getting ready to release it. So I feel like some of you have been carrying more than your fair share of other people's energy, and you're finally getting ready to release that. It's making it hard for you to pursue your own, if that makes any sense. But let's go ahead and get some clarification going for you, Gemini, with the Page of Swords. The Page of Cups came out and flew out face up. So we have the Page of Cups kicking it off here. Okay. Page of Cups. Hello. Okay, cards are getting a little jumpy here. There's a message for you here, Gemini. This one is calling me. King of Pentacles. And one more shuffle here. All right. And the Three of Pentacles. Okay, underlying the deck is the World. Okay, I think that you have a collaborative, there's a call for a collaborative partnership. It's about, the Three of Pentacles is building. It's really like going after a project, a large endeavor, and you're doing so in a collaborative energy, which makes sense with the Lovers card here. There's something that you want to do, or a project you want to tackle with somebody. I think it's something that you've been kind of dreaming of. The Page of Pentacles is actually, the Page of Cups is actually a very dreamy card. This is a manifesting card, a feminine, receptive manifesting card. And again, pages are messengers, so there is something of a it could be somebody else. I wonder sometimes if this is somebody else's vision for you. That could be. Yeah. Because I didn't, as you can tell, it's Mercury retrograde full stop, and I can't speak. But that came out, and that makes a lot of sense to me. I kind of feel like this Page of Cups is actually somebody else's vision. It's somebody else's manifestation. And I guess in a lot of ways it could be both. It could be yours and theirs. It could represent both, but I don't feel like they're quite in line with each other. So it's like you're working on a project with this person, and you sort of have this energy of like both of you want to operate the same thing. It's like, I'm going to be the hammer, and the other person's like, no, I'm going to be the hammer. Okay. I don't know. Take it as it resonates. I am retrograding hard today, but there's something to do with the fact that like you both have a manifestation or a vision in mind, but it's not quite lining up. And I feel like you're sort of learning that you've been sort of emphasizing or giving more power to their side of it than yours. It doesn't mean that it's off. Like, it doesn't mean that you can't work together. It just means that there's got to be a little bit of refinement. With the King of Pentacles here, that is definitely a card of really being a master of the 3D realm of abundance, of materials and of health, and just the typical, the physical reality that we live in, right? The kings represent mastery, so this is mastery over the 3D in a lot of ways, the material realm. I feel like you both work together really well, but you have to sort of learn through that ability to communicate with that Page of Swords and saying like, no, these are my boundaries. The communication is really key to sort of aligning the visions, right? In order to get this page to align in a common way so that you can work together more effectively, you need that communication. But what I do see though with the King of Pentacles there, again, is that there's a great opportunity for success in that. So I wouldn't, to me it feels like a tweak, a minor calibration tweak, and it's something that's going to actually close out kind of a big cycle for you. The World is like, it's the end of the major arcana. And so this communication situation, Gemini, could be a huge thing for you. It could be a very huge thing for you. So that's awesome. But let's get some clarification on the Lovers. I have Gemini North Node, and my Venus is Gemini. So I can resonate with some of that. Definitely. Let's go ahead and get some clarification on this Lovers card. And as a matter of fact, I'm a Taurus sun, so the King of Pentacles too, that's one of my cards. But at any rate, I digress. You don't care. Let's get into it. The Lovers. What does Gemini need to know about the Lovers? All right, we're kicking it off with the Knight of Wands. This is a very passionate knight, but the problem is they burn out. You know, the flame is too hot, they burn out. Interesting seeing the Knight of Wands and Strength here, because we have Leo energy and Leo is fire, so this could be representing the Leo. You might be attached to a Leo. I don't know. Maybe. Six of Cups energy, though, this is really important because I talked about the past life idea and the soulmates and all that. Six of Cups is very much a card like that. This is people, this is long-standing stuff. People, you know, there's generational things here. There's like an elder giving the flower to the younger here. And it can represent life, it can represent family, it can represent long-term friendships, long-term relationships, it can represent past life energy as well, or people from your past. Okay? It can represent people from your past, but we need one more card. To me, it feels like no. No, I need one more card. I'm not gonna speak to it. I kind of do feel like some of you, this is really specific, but it's like some of you may be currently involved with a fire sign. And then we have the Moon here. Okay, now Moon, this is Cancerian energy or Pisces energy. I really feel it's more Cancer, but that's me. Who cares what I think? What is that even about? Forgive me. See this, Gemini, this is what happens. And I know some Geminis personally. What is this linguistic? What is this? Someone want to explain to me what the fuck this is? Yikes. Hey, we're retrograding pretty hard, but why? What's with the dancing around everything all the time? Like, just speak directly. It's an obstacle. There's something to do with your deepest desires here, your inner world. It's literally the stuff in your inner world, your hopes, your dreams, your fears. I kind of feel like what I feel like is you learning to work with this person. There's a lot of fear around it. That's exactly why that happened. You're being so diplomatic. You're being way too diplomatic, like trying to orbit your point, right? I'm just orbiting my point here. La da 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 da. And you know, it's the road to hell is paved with good intentions. You know what I mean? Like speaking that way will get you in so much trouble. Like learning to speak directly is so important. I feel my throat tensing up right now. There's tension in here. Some of you are having a real big blockage in your throat. Underlying the deck is the Tower. We're going to talk about the Tower for a minute, because the Tower is a rapid change. It affects aspects of something that's been established that needs to be removed. This is like a divine intervention, right? The lightning comes from the sky, and it's an act of God, right? We call it an act of God. If it's like something in insurance or whatever, if something happens to your house, it's an act of God, right? You get it. But what's key to note about this is that it takes the Tower and it sort of reduces it to the foundation, right? But the foundation remains intact. It's really like taking an aspect of something established and taking away the things that don't belong there, so that you can put the things that do belong there in their proper place. You're basically, you could think of it as a distillation of the ego. Like, the ego is a good thing. You want ego, but you don't want false ego, and you don't want an ego that is out of balance or overwhelming the other aspects. And so, Cancer, to be really, I just called you Cancer. Gemini, it's because I was looking at the Moon card. Excuse me, Gemini. That's interesting. Take it as it resonates, Gemini. Maybe there's a Cancer in your life. I don't know. Your attempt to be diplomatic and speak around the periphery of what you really want to get to is, I think it's intended to be diplomatic, but it's actually translating it as something that's really more of a dishonesty. I think you're learning, what I'm seeing here is that you're actually going to be learning how to speak more clearly to the respective people in your life that you need to speak more clearly to. And wow, did I ever get fumbly in this. That energy is, it's frustrating. And that is not to guilt you at all. Love and light to you. Literally, it's not to guilt you. It's just something that it's got to be, the frustration I'm feeling is like your frustration, Gemini. I almost called you Cancer again. Gemini, it's your, you don't feel heard and you're trying so hard, but there's something about the boldness that needs to be taken up here, which may be why we have the Strength card out. I mean, it may not be a Leo, right? It may not even be a fire sign necessarily that you're dealing with. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Take it as it resonates. But this Strength card may have a lot to do with your own individual strength. And strength is literally like showing up into 3D empowered. In the material, physical world, showing up empowered. Strength is it's the sun, and it's a very it's actually the sun is a very masculine. It's a masculine archetype of energy, right? But the Strength card traditionally shows the feminine sort of taming the lion, right? And the feminine being receptive, the moon, and the masculine being the sun. It's like there's really a balance that needs to be struck. We are just about to, I think we might even, no, we're not quite. Libra season is right around the corner, and that is the balance, right? It's air, also Gemini, which is your element, but it's balance, yin and yang. And I think something is lopsided here that's kind of coming into a balance, perhaps. But we'll get some clarification on this Strength card for you. I think that it's about your own it's about finding your own voice. And I see various types of speaking energy. Some of you can speak really clearly. But where it goes out, I think, is when you get too passionate. Like that Knight of Wands is like when some passion gets out of hand and you get anger, things like that, you will speak way out of term, or you may be, again, circling the drain here of like trying to get to the point, and you don't ever find the point until the anger, and then the truth finally, or the whatever, right? Anger is a good example, but that's when something finally, comes out, like, just vomits out of you, and it's like, if you know, you know. But anyway, let's get into your Strength card. Okay. What I was just talking about, that, right? 5 of Swords. This is literally like a conflict leading to some separation. This isn't, the 5 of Swords you could think of in a really simple way as literally an argument or some kind of blowout like that, where you had, something came out, some communication. Swords is all communication and the thought life. Something finally comes out and people, it causes a time of separation. We have the Sun. That's an interesting juxtaposition. There's a key here, though. Your happiness and your joy and you're enjoying your space has so much to do with learning to speak your truth. You have to get the pressure off. You need, so in other words, if it's stuck and you're not able to speak it, the pressure is going to build up until it finally blows out. But I feel like you're learning. Like I'm seeing that here. I mean, that's the whole point of this reading, is not to yell at you for not communicating well. It's to explain the fact that you're learning this, and it's bringing happiness into your life, I feel. Yes, the Ace of Swords, truth. This is clear communication revealing truth. So this is so brilliant to me, because I think many of you are starting to get this lesson down, where you're like, I'm not letting the pressure build up. Also, because we are clarifying strength, it's like the truth revealed, maybe some people didn't like it. but that's on them. It's still the truth. Like, the truth is the truth, and the truth is something that's bringing you happiness and empowerment. So the era of diplomacy, to the point of like not even really speaking your truth, that's coming to a close, Gemini, and that's super key. Like, that there's no point in dishonest diplomacy in my mind. I feel like underlying the deck here is the Eight of Pentacles. This is mastering your craft, right? This is focusing on your career life, what you do for a living, things like that. And seeing that with the Three of Pentacles and the way we kind of kicked off the reading with this idea of like learning to work together with somebody, it feels very much like some of you specifically have a job in some form of communications. That may not be everybody's story. It could go one of two ways here. Either this clear communication that caused some potential separation has actually freed your time up in order to focus on yourself more, or this may be related. Your literal communication skills may be intrinsically tied to your career, Gemini. So either way, I think this is really positive. To me, it feels like you're finding it. It really feels like you're finding your strength in a situation, and I do feel that the Lovers card there at the beginning of the reading had a lot to do with. It could be around somebody you work with very closely, and I think that Five of Swords that we just talked about, that may not, especially if it's in regards to your respective lover energy, whether it's the coworker or whatever it happens to be, the person you're working with. If you had a blowout with somebody close to you, I don't think that it's a long-term thing. I think that over time, boundaries will be respected. But it's really important to learn how to express the energy before it builds up too much. And that's very specifically, I guess, for somebody that learning to keep the pressure down to a minimum by making sure that you are speaking your truth, I think is critical. It's all about the throat. Like, my throat is tight, and that is not normal. That's somebody's, it's a throat chakra thing for somebody, okay? All right. Let's get a potential outcome for you using the Cosmic Tarot. We have the Three of Swords. There could be some setbacks, some disappointment, some heartbreak here. Could be. And I think, again, that may be something somewhat temporary. I don't know. There's a lot of fear around it, though, with the Nine of Swords. Nine of Swords is more about fear, and it's fear of potentially bad things more than it is about bad things actually happening. The Nine of Swords is literally like, it's nightmare energy. And, you know, nightmares are absolutely not real. They're things that occur, that we experience, but they aren't real things, if that makes sense. You have a fear about this heartbreak. And then we got the Four of Wands. But the stability is there. See, what you're not seeing, Gemini, is let me look at the underlying real quick. Underlying is the Five of Pentacles. Yeah, there's so much fear. This is saying to me, you're very afraid of the heartbreak. You're afraid of a separation. You're afraid of being left out. The Five of Pentacles is literally like being left out in the cold. You're afraid that speaking your truth is actually going to cost you, maybe even financially, but it's also gonna hurt you emotionally, right? And it's something that you fear in a lot of ways. But this Four of Wands, the Four of Wands is literally like a card of stability, a card of happiness and celebration. Some people call it the 1111 card or the Twin Flame card. It's a card that can represent marriages. And to see this in conjunction with the Lovers is telling me like, no, it's solid. It's solid. If I'm speaking to you right now and this is about like an actual partner, like an actual spouse or long-term relationship, it's just saying, no, it's stable. Like, in order to work through the problems, you have to speak. And if you don't speak, you're going to just be harming yourself. If you have spoken and there's been a bit of a fallout, this is just an encouraging reminder to tell you that it's stable. I'm seeing that that you have fear here, but I'm also seeing the stability. Okay? And there is a potential... this Five of Pentacles is like, again, it's fear being left out in the cold. There's some financial concerns. It's not permanent, and it's very much, I think, in your head. So if this is something that does come down the pike in an actual permanent way, it's something that is temporal. That's a word. It's temporary. It is a word, by the way. It's temporary. It's not something that's going to last. It's going to be a small fallout. And you may feel this. Again, the Five of Swords, that energy that we talked about, that argument energy leading to a separation, that kind of thing, it's going to lead to some of this separation, this fear of being left out, you know. But it's not permanent by a long stretch. It's very temporary. It can be remedied, and you need to take solace and comfort in the fact that it's stable. And I love the fact that I'm using these cards for this particular message, because the Cosmic Tarot has this funny way of taking images that traditionally involve two people and making it an individual, and taking individual energies in the traditional Rider and inverting that and making it two people. So there's this uniqueness in the fact that the Four of Wands is a single person here dancing, basically doing a little ballet right in the middle of the Four Wands, because it's a matter of your own comfort right now. This is your reaction. This is your individual energy, but it's representing the circumstances that involve more than one person. So it's literally a pairing up from the perspective of an individual. And I really love that, Gemini. You are okay. Yeah, Gemini, you are okay. You're okay. I promise you're okay. And you speaking your truth is the best thing you can do for yourself. And I promise you it will only improve the circumstances. You're going to be fine. You're going to be fine. You're not necessarily done dealing with this individual, but the more that you learn to speak clearly, set your boundaries, be honest, the more communication starts to flow, the better things are going to go. That does rhyme. Wow. Okay, I almost called you Cancer again. Some of you are dealing with a Cancer. That's interesting to me because I almost said it again. That's been like 3-4 times now. Gemini. Best of luck with this energy. Thank you so much. Again, if this resonated, now that you got to the end of the video, if you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing, of course. And please hit the like button if you like the video, okay? It means the world to me. Thank you so much, Gemini. I hope to see you next Saturday on Super Windy Saturdays. And until then, have a beautiful week.